Hey, guess what, guys? We're looking at this today. Litefighter Gear FIDO 2 A series. This is a 3/4 seasons tent, guys, and I can tell you it's actually a 4 seasons tent. Some of the videos you guys probably saw on YouTube, and you saw some articles about it. We were camping, my kids and I and my wife, in -5 to -10 degree temperatures here in Ohio. And ironically, that was like a week and a half ago. Seriously, it's like 65 degrees right now. Everything is wet, everything is mushy. But guys, we're gonna take a look at this tent and show you guys what all comes in it and why, when you're looking for a tent, this is probably the one for you. It doesn't matter where you're camping at, guys. Ohio, Florida, Texas, whatever you want, this can do. It's got all in there. I know what you're thinking. This little bag doesn't have everything in it. It's only got a tarp, or it's only got this, that. No, this has everything, including your 2 outer layers of the tent for windbreak and for that winter. So guys, let's go ahead and unpack this. Let's set it up, and you guys can see why this is gonna be your next tent. Let's do it, guys. All right, so first, there's multiple pouches in here. The main pouch, as I would call it, is the bigger of the pouches, and you have things like your winter break in there. So that's that guy. Then you're going to have your actual tent and your tarp. So that's our windbreak right there. And this is gonna be our actual tent. So all of that fit in there. And believe it or not, guys, because you already saw me camp, I did all of that and rolled it back up and actually fit back in the bag. Because how many of you have bought something and it clearly does not fit back in the bag without some kind of mythical way of shrinking it all down? This does. So let's go ahead and roll it out. We're gonna set it all up right here where it's somewhat dry. Not very much, but it's somewhat dry. So let's go ahead and roll this. So here's the tent and the ground tarp, guys. And I folded this up because this is the best way I found to put this back in the actual bag. So here's the ground tarp right here. Obviously, we stretch this puppy out and get that down. We're having some winds here and there, guys, so I got to be a little bit careful this thing doesn't go flying away. Right now, it's not too bad. All right, so that's this guy. Now, when we look at this, inside the bag still are the stakes, and we're gonna need those. You have them in the corners as well. So let's go ahead and bring those out. All right, guys, we did a little bit of a cut and paste in this thing because my kid decided to drive his 4-wheeler over and interrupt our entire video. So the bag, the cool thing this is we've laid our ground tarp out. Now, in the back part of the bag, there's another compartment. There's a cool little stake kit I don't want to show you just yet. That's a pole kit, how the whole tent's gonna be kind of working on. But you have your stakes, and the bag has different compartments for different things, so you're not combining everything. So let's go ahead and stake down our tent here, guys. Now, if you've done this a couple of times, guys, stay up tents, put 2 ends in, stretch it out enough where it's like a little bit taut, but leave it a little bit slack there. And then when you pull these ones, that's how you get it out of there. It saves you from like trying to nickel and dime yourself and get it just perfect. And always put your tent stakes at an angle so if it pulls a little, it doesn't pull it all the way up, but also gives it somewhere to latch into. And the stakes that come with the FIDO are pretty cool. They actually have little cutouts, which help you immensely. And you guys know if you have some cheaper tents, they don't come with that kind of stuff. You get some crappy stakes that come probably straight from Walmart, and they really don't do a whole lot very well. All right, so we got our ground tarp down. If you live in Ohio, the ground tarp's important, guys, because you will get so freaking wet. It's not funny no matter what you do. Now, let's go to the actual tent itself. We have 2 more stakes. It comes with 6. We're gonna leave those aside for a second. Never put them directly on the ground, guys. You never find them. If you're gonna learn one thing from me, never put anything on the ground. Keep it where you're gonna find it, and keep it where it's easily accessible. Now, when it comes to setting up this part of the tent, guys, the major thing you gotta figure out is which way do you want your door to face. And obviously you want wind breaks if you can. You may or may not want the sun coming into it. It just depends. But take that into consideration when you're putting up this part of the tent. Now, the cool thing with this is that on these, are a little locking part right here on the edge of it. And it locks into some of the stuff that you already have down here. Also, the the pole set here, which I'm gonna show you, has a part that goes in right there as well and snaps it all together. There's a hole right there. I'm actually gonna drag this over after, of course, I did all this. So you have two different things. One, you got right here where the pole goes through, and two, you have the ability to lock it down with snapping this together as well, which again, we'll show you guys. Let's go ahead and get this up first, and then we'll do some of the details, all right? Now, I did tell you one of the coolest parts about this is gonna be the pole set that comes with it. And why did I say that? Because most of us remember the days when every pole was separate. It was a giant pain in the butt. This one is one giant piece with a hub in the center. So what's cool about this is all I have to do is find the two short ones. There's a joke in there in and of itself. Those are your ends. So your door and your flap. So on each side. So I'm going to keep those where the door and the flap is going to be. And on this tent, it's on these two longer sides of the tent itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down. And we got to angle it this way a little bit. There we go. All right. So now comes, honestly, the pretty stinking easy part. And that is just snapping all this together. Pick which side you want to start on. That is totally up to you. And I'm just doing it, honestly, the easiest way. And so remember the hole I said that was in here, guys, for the tent itself? There's holes in the tarp feet, which I'm going to show you closer up in a second. You snap these together, and it holds itself right there. Now, easier with two people, and this is the FIDO 2, which means obviously it's for two people. Right now, it's just me, myself, and I. And so I'm going to set this up as a one person. But honestly, once you get about two of these in, it's super simple because it kind of grows taut on itself and you're not so worrisome about it snapping apart. Now, one thing to remember, in the ground tarp, there's two areas, holes for the feet of these things to go in. The bottom of these stakes, not stakes, sorry, of the pole kit right here. Pick one or the other. So go to the far outside or the close inside. For what I'm doing, I go to the inside first, and that way it leaves the other one open. But it depends on how much of this tent you're setting up and what you're doing with it. And guys, this is me putting this together while talking to you and honestly having fun because I like this stuff. I love it. So that's how simple that was. Now, the rest of the tent just comes together with these little clasps on the outside. And you just start clasping them on. And it's that simple. I tend to work one side because what I want to do is I want to get up to the middle here. Because once I get to the middle, it's a whole lot easier. And the ends of the tent where the openings are, there's another little hole. It slides right on to one of those shorter poles that's going out. And again, I work from side to side usually. So I like to have it kind of where it's a little bit taut on both sides. Makes it a little easier to work with in my personal opinion. And again, let's get the middle one here. Let's get another one. And then you can see right here is that little hole. That guy goes in and draws it taut. Look at that. And you have two entrances, one on this side, one on that side. Again, you got to pick what you want to do. I just have it set up this way right now because I want to get this thing set up here, kind of show you guys what it looks like. And if you're sitting there thinking, gosh, that looks really easy, you'd be right. This is super easy. And the time that I set up at my house, just to kind of screw around with it, I think in total, from setup to teardown, or sorry, just setup, let me put it that way, was somewhere around 5 minutes. But that was me, you know, kind of like going quickly because I wanted this done. And because it was cold as heck out. And we just kind of wanted to get everything ready to go camping. And my kids were more interested in chopping firewood. But honestly, who wouldn't be, right? As a kid, most of us don't want to do this. We want to chop firewood and start a fire and just kind of burn a bunch of stuff up, right? So, all right, so here's the windbreaker here. And this is also going to be the dew protector, if you will. Because honestly, if you camp anywhere like I do, that is one of the most important parts, is having some way to block out and keep the dew off your tent. Now, again, we'll do some up closes here, but I'm a one-man show, so I gotta be somewhat reasonable with how I do this. And my kids are coming back over because he probably can't get the four-wheeler started, the other one. There is a hole above where the zipper is, and that stake, the short stake that we talked about, goes right through there. So this comes through and it helps hold that taunt. Now, I'm going to cut for a second and go see what they need, because I'm sure it's going to be something that they could do on their own and they don't want to. All right, gang, so we're back. Hitting my kid's four-wheeler started, had some issue. Anyways, when we put the middle pole through this area here, everything is then kind of locked in place a little bit. Like you see how it's getting a little more taunt on the areas. And then we can go through these areas. We can lock in at the end of these, has a little clasp, and it clasps on the bottom, which I'll do a close-up of in a little bit to show you guys what it looks like. We do these to all four corners, obviously. And as you're seeing, the tent is becoming more and more taunt, which is what we want, obviously. We don't want it, you know, being super loose. And the other important thing, which I'm sure a lot of you guys caught on to or will catch on to, is that the outer part of the tent, that unipole system, keeps this off of the inside tent. So they're not rubbing against each other, which means the dew's not transferring through, and it does create a barrier, in essence, to keep you warmer. Now, you could leave the tent like this, and in this kind of weather, I'd be pretty close to doing that, because it's not very hot, it's not cold, it's somewhere in the middle. You do have these areas that open up here. You can do it as a, like a weather, or like, sorry, as a windbreak, to help wind get in. I shouldn't say windbreak, sorry. A wind flow through, in essence, so you can open this. It still locks at the bottom, so it's not going to flail around, but allows some air to come in and kind of air to go through the tent. Now, you also have where you can go from the bottom and actually open this entirely up, and this goes on both sides. The outside layer also has some breathability here, because again, if you're new to camping, or maybe you just camping like just only warm temperatures and that's it, you do want some breathability going through the tent either way. As it is right now, this is going to be my layer to keep the rain off me, and that's going to be a very, very important layer. Now, I obviously have multicam. It also comes with a woodland and other options, but as you guys know, you've probably heard me say it before, I am a huge fan of multicam. Probably goes back to me and my dad, and he loved multicam, and so hey, and back in the day, multicam was a big deal. Like it was the more expensive of every option you could imagine was multicam. So we're gonna put this together. Now on both sides, there's gonna be a zipper opening on either side. So you wanna make sure the zipper openings are on the sides the tent actually goes up and into. And on top of that, when you assemble this, where those zippers are at, there's also gonna be this guy, and there's a little notch there. That's where that goes onto that middle pole, the shorter pole section, and helps keep that where it's supposed to. Now we're gonna lock down these ends here so that we can give this a little more taunt. And on each of the ends is a little clasping system with a pull cord type ability to draw this tight and taunt on either side. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and get this going. And you're probably noticing and thinking, gosh, Adam, you're not that smart. There's something right here just flapping in the wind. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But for right now, let's get this done, because this puts me in a better place to know where I'm at with the rest of the setup. All right, so one more leg here. And we'll do a close-up of this stuff in a second so you guys can see it. But all right, so that's that. Now, for the end part that you're asking questions about, that's where your other two stakes come in handy. This comes out, and I would get this one as taunt as you can, because again, this is what you're going to go in and out of your tent with. And this goes again from top to bottom. or sorry, bottom to top or top to bottom, so you still get that airflow. And you guys are gonna see in here, there's enough that you can have some airflow. Like right now, I'm leaving it up off the ground a little bit, so there's airflow into the tank. So it's gonna be hot right now compared to -5. There's another one that goes in on this side. So let's go ahead and get this guy in place. And even though you guys can't see this, I'll give you a tour around here so you do have an idea what it looks like. And so you guys can see kind of what we're doing here. So that gives you the 2 different openings. This gives you your rain cover as well as that super cold weather. There's also some bags you can load with snow or sand or whatever you need to do it with to help hold this down, this whole tent down. And they come inside the bag here. Let me show you an example here. Something like this guy. But also what I use these for a lot was I put stuff inside of them and then hang them on the inside of the tent. And that gave me a lot more options of what I can do. These come in here. The tent also comes with a patch kit in case you know, make a little bit of an oopsie and do something that you're not supposed to. And all this stuff comes inside here. It all fits back inside too. So you have what you need. So there's obviously your patch kit, extra string, a little bit of everything. They really do think about this stuff, guys. Like this tent and how it's designed and how everything comes together is really well done. And the fact that it actually fits back in this bag is even more of a crazy notion, because usually you can't get anything back in a bag once it's out. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a close review here in a second. I'll take the camera off tripod and give you guys a close review of all the way around the tent and see what it looks like. And we'll pull taunt a couple of these things. I left them a little loose just to get this ready and going. All right, guys, so here's how these tent stakes work. So as I told you, we'll do a close up. But there's the tent stake itself. Then you've got the ground tarp. We have the outermost shell, which is this guy, clasped onto there. Then we have the innermost, that middle layer, that clasps onto the actual tent portion right there. So it kind of acts as a system there. They all work together. And that's how I have found that I really enjoy putting this together. But again, you know, your mileage may vary. You may want to try something different when you're setting yours up, but that works really well. You can see on the back side here is the other tent stake. And again, you have another opening on this side as well. So you have 2 different openings, and holds the warm air in really well in the winter and keeps the airflow in the winter, or sorry, the summer. So it keeps that air flowing as well. And again, you can see down here, I left a big gap down there because obviously it's warm out right now. I want that airflow, so I want air coming in and out. I don't want to trap it all in there. But you could do that lower, like in the winter we did a lot lower, and that way we're kind of keeping the warm air in while still letting some of the air flow out. So there you go, guys. All right, guys, so as we're looking from the outside, this is the FIDO 2 AI series. It's the all-in. And as we look from the outside in, this is the bag the actual tent comes in, is the one that says Litefighter Gear, their symbol on the outside there. That little bag right there is for the lightweight sleeping bag. And on the outside here, to get the tarp out of the way, there is a little like a bungee system there. So that gets your tarp out of the way so you have a clean opening to go in and out of. We have both layers, the middle and the inner tent. Here I've already unzipped them. And then inside, I've put 2 different sleeping bags. The one here is a super negative, it's like -5, 6-degree temperature bag. And the one on this side is your more like a summer fall bag type of a thing. All of that, guys, with room at the top, bottom, sides. You're not gonna be pressed against the tent, all that in that little bag.